Hi and welcome to the channel. I've just about finished my teaching stint and it's been a long 4 weeks, but in the meantime I've been doing a little bit here and there on another radio. It did work when I turned it on first time, but it needed quite a bit of work. It's a Philips 167, also known as a Quintet 167. It's the last in line of these type of chassis Philips made. And then they went to the 172 type chassis, which you've seen before. It really was filthy dirty. The cabinet has come up absolutely beautifully. There's not a scratch on it. I've still got a little bit of brightening work to do on the front grille, but it's really white. And the only other problem with it is the volume control, which has been replaced, and it's a linear rather than a logarithmic one. So the volume is pretty much full on at the minimum. So let's get into it, and I'll return with a bit more next week as I wind up again. The weather is clearing up very nicely, a few warm days, and yeah, so here we go. So as I said, this is a Philips 164. It's in pretty nice condition, except that it's missing its details down here. I'm not sure what was on here, probably Philips or whatever model radio it was, or something like that. It's had, I'm not sure whether you can see that, but this is sticking out quite a way, so I'd say the volume on-off switch has been changed. This is pretty grotty down here. Overall it's pretty, it's not too bad. In fact, it's quite nice. And when it will be cleaned up, it is actually quite heavy, so, and it has the original sticker on it down the bottom there. So it's a 5-valve. It's got, there's the model number there. Oh, and I've just noticed it's got a tone control on the back of it. So right, so 2 screws there and 3 up here, and we can get into it. So I'll take the back off of it and we'll see how we go. Before I take the back off, let's fire it up. So that's 60 volts. And see a little bit of a glow for the globes. It's 120. $160. 180. Nothing from the dim bulb. 200 volts. So that's just under, well, it's 196 volts. And it's picking up.
Great stuff, Benny. Nice film.
Thank you. Yeah, after the win on Dun Dancer, there is Benny on this afternoon. It's 9. I'm going to a full market and Harry White's selections ahead of the next. Now, an RSN Racing and Sport market update. Okay, it's off at 2 o'clock, race 4. Number 1, Bit of Oz, is at $6.70. Number 2, Chutchkey C is at $27. 3 Finance Star, $29. Number 5.
So it sounds like the tuning is rubbing. And that is minimum volume.
Harry White at $1.90. Celine Gaudry is with it. Now you playing.
And with the favourite, John, numbers are, excuse me, 8, 10, 6 and 1.
So it sounds like it's, why am I getting feedback in here? I'm not sure. I'll fix that in a moment. It sounds like the tuning capacitor is rubbing somewhat. So I'll have a look at that. And we'll take the back off and see what's going on. Right, I was just about to put this on the alignment and I knocked very gently the volume control and it just shattered at the back. So it looks like it's been glued a couple of times before. So yeah. Get some more of these, won't I? Okay, so I'll put that up there for the moment. There's more little bits of it. Don't think that's going to glue back together again. It's been done once too many times. Right. That is pretty corroded, that one. I was going to cut this off, but as I said earlier, this is not the right pot for it anyway. it's not the right pot. It is a 5,000, I think. 5,000 ohm. I'm not sure that these are going to be very easy to turn. So they look pretty, they've got the wax on them for a start, and then they've got the, they look a bit rusty too. What I might do is just heat them up with the heat gun. See if I can get the wax to melt a bit. So bring this down. Yeah, that's working well. I'll do this. Now this sounded really terrible when I turned it on. It was absolutely no bass whatsoever. This is at minimum volume, so I'll spare you the noise. So the alignment is done. It's not the greatest of radios, but it's not too bad. Probably some of the valves are weak. I've also started to clean it up, and I don't know whether you can see or not because of the white front. The camera is reducing the exposure somewhat, but it is actually very, very white, and the dial is almost perfect. So these screws will have to be taken out when I've got other bits and pieces for it, namely the on-off volume control and a badge down here, a Philips badge. But I'm really, really pleased with this. Oh yes, and the knob isn't coming up very well. It's still pretty tarnished, and the clear part is probably irreparable. It's sort of very dark. So I'll have to get a pair of knobs for it, and yeah, it's come up much better than I expected. The cabinet is perfect actually. There's not a scratch on it. There's a few, I know that's just more built up grease, so it was really thick, as you can see from my fingernail. It's yeah, not good. And yeah, so when I was doing the brass along this red area here, the red started to come off, so I'm not going to continue with that. Anyway, let's wrap this up. I've done all the interesting things on it, so there's just more lumps of, it's really thick grease on this. Yeah, so goodbye, and I'll speak to you next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that jazz. Hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye for now.